So tonight we're going to try a few things. We're going to get a few things going here, and we're going to see if we can get everything working right. If everything's coming through okay, we'll be doing great. So this is going to be the first time we do this completely on screen, and we'll see what happens. And it looks like we're having a little bit of latency issues, but that's normal. You know, hopefully after tomorrow we're going to have this latency problem taken care of. We'll see what happens. Without any further ado, we're going to go ahead and get this thing started. Just give me 1 second and we'll really get this thing started. Where's my overlay? 1 second. You know, typical things that happen around here. It's an atheist podcast. If it was on time, it wouldn't be working correctly, would it? So, oh, how do I get rid of that thing? Oh, yeah. Don't mind me. I'm just your typical normal everyday Satanist that has problems. Anyway, so tonight we're going to answer some questions. If we get any questions from the audience, we're going to start off with some questions I get a lot. One of the main questions I get a lot is, are you TST? Are you COS? What are you? What does unaffiliated mean? I'm an unaffiliated Satanist, which means I don't belong to any organization. So it's neither, though I'm more aligned with the LaVey than anything else. I find TST is nothing but a bunch of humanists parading around in satanic tropes. I don't belong to COS because I find compulsory pressure to join an organization reminds me too much of the thing that I escaped. Therefore, I have elected to be independent. Hey, what's up there, Titan? Welcome. So, another thing is, did any sacrifices occur to the figure of Baphomet? Baphomet is one of those things that I like to use a lot as my background in quite a few situations. I'm trying to find him so I can put him up. There he is. I'll pull myself off of the screen for a second. Okay, so the question has been asked about Baphomet here, that if any sacrifices are taking place. The simple answer is no. So the first use of the word Baphomet or Baphomet was in 1098 when a crusader mentioned the word in a letter describing the siege of Antioch. As the occupants were observing the Islamic morning call to prayer, the Crusaders prayed to God. Baphomet was a word that many Europeans used to call Muhammad, thinking Muslims worship their prophet. Later in the 19th century, the name Baphomet became further associated with the occult. Eliphas Levi published Dogme et Rituel de la Haute Magie. Magia. So much for my pronunciation of Latin. That means dogma, rituals, dogma and rituals of high magic, as 2 volumes. in 1854 and 1856, in which it included the image drawn by himself, which he described as Baphomet and the Sabbatic goat, showing a winged humanoid goat with a pair of breasts, I'm sorry, and a torch on its head, its horns, between the horns on its head. The image has become the best known representation of Baphomet. Levy considered the Baphomet to be a depiction of the absolute and symbolic form, and explicit in detail of his symbolism in the drawing and served as his front piece. It's basically a as above, so below, and all these other things. So, what's wrong with humanists? I'll get to that in a second, Titan. The goat on the front piece comes as a sign of the pentagram of the forehead, with one point at the top, a symbol of light, his two hands forming the sign of occultism, the one pointing up to the white moon of Chesed, and the perfect harmony and mercy in with justice. His one arm is female, the other is male, like the ones of androgyny. And, it just keeps on going on and more, talking about how it's all symbol of dualism. So that's where the Baphomet comes from. And why do we use it? I don't know. What's wrong with humanism? Let's get that one up here. So, Titan Uranus. Thank you.
Tighten your anus.
Anyway. Ask, what's wrong with humanists? Nothing's wrong with humanists, except when they masquerade as Satanists. That's where I have a problem with them. Welcome, native atheist. The whole thing with TST it's really long, drawn out. If you want me to get into that in a little bit, I will. I just want to cover some of these other questions first. And a lot of people ask, why do I, in particularly, reference the Bible if I don't believe in it? Well, because Christianity is the most dominant religion in Western society, and particularly in the United States. I like to approach things from a perspective most will understand. Blame it on my upbringing if you want to. I know more about that book than the books of other faiths. I will continue to use it as I discuss things with people that have a passing knowledge of the book. In other words, your common everyday Joe Christian that comes in and asks questions. I get told, then you were never a Christian. You just went to church, okay? That's a no true Scotsman fallacy. It's one of my favorite ones. People seem to think that just because we are no longer Christians, we never really were Christians, which makes no fucking sense whatsoever to me. Let's see here. Now, the fun one. Here's some statements that always come across in my live feeds, especially on TikTok. Satan is the devil. So you worship Satan? If you believe in Satan, then you believe in the Jehovah, correct? Spending your life honoring Satan and at the same time say he doesn't exist? So why Satan and not God? Do you believe in Satan? I get this question day after day. Every time I go live on TikTok, it doesn't matter. I will get this question. Don't you believe in a real Satan? If you believe in Satan, you gotta believe in God. Well, the answer is no. Nor do I believe in demons, gods, God, Allah, fairies, sprites, ghosts. Maybe chalkboard ones do exist. I don't know. Brownies, gnomes, or purple and pink polka dotted unicorns. Basically, the supernatural is only supernatural until it can be explained. Then it becomes natural. So, that are basically the main things that come up in my lives the most. Oh, and recently, the most fun parts are when we've got people from some of the African countries that are going, can you help me join the Illuminati? Can you tell me how to sell my soul? Can you tell me how to join your organization? Okay, well, number one, I'm an unaffiliated Satanist, so there is no way to join my organization. Two, Satanism is an individual practice. That's the reason why TST is so screwed up, because they think that they can get away with having a people come together and do things like that. And finally, Satan is just a symbol. For a Satanist, Satan is the metaphorical projection of our own highest potential when it comes to the expression of liberty and independence and rejection of false authorities, rejection of past dogmas. And it's just a symbol. Getting people to understand it's just a symbol is one of the hardest things that we as Satanists have to deal with. And that's probably one of the reasons why we have so much fun when people are around, trying to give us these little stupid things that come in. But now, that's basically the roundup of everything that everybody likes to talk about. So if anybody has any questions, if you don't, you're going to listen to me pontificate from the screen. So I'll give you a couple of minutes. Might even give you a little bit of listen music while I'm doing a couple of things here, trying to find a few more things to add. I might do a reading. This could be fun. We'll see what happens. Now, where in the heck is this thing? You know, this is why people have producers. So they don't have to pay attention to all these things, and everybody else can have fun. So, a little bit of wildflower heather while I load up my Satanic Bible on my screen. Yeah, there she is. Still trying to get it pulled up on something that didn't come up on one device. So we'll have to pull it up on another device. Christianity affects every part of our life. I don't want to pull this up over here. So Christianity affects every part of our lives. It shouldn't, especially in the government. I completely agree, but I'm apolitical when it comes to my satanic platform, but I completely agree. It should stay out of politics. Let's see here. Let's go back to the beginning. So, I should probably put something up over here. But if you've got any questions, please feel free to ask them. I'll try to answer them. If you'd like to come up on screen, the link is pinned. See if I can lock myself out of my iPhone. Oops, that's the wrong thing. All right, let me kill Wildflower Heather. So, Titan says the proper name for theistic Satanist Christian. Well, that or devil worshiper. So that's the way I look at it. Just dropped something on the ground. Pardon me. So, and I have no idea what I titled my live over here on TikTok, because I'm going to go ahead and go live on TikTok, let everybody know. If you'd like to join the conversation, please come over to YouTube, where everything is being listed down in the bio on how to get there. Just click on that little bio link and click on the YouTube channel. It should take you to the proper channel. I've gone over some things already. Right now, I'd like to go over indulgence instead of abstinence from the Satanic Bible. So it says here, people often mistake compulsion for indulgence, but there is a world of difference between the two. A compulsion is never created by indulging, but not by being able to indulge. By making something taboo, it only serves to intensify the desire. Everyone likes to do the things they have been told not to. Forbidden fruits are the sweetest. Webster's Encyclopedic Dictionary defines indulgency thusly: to give oneself up to, not to restrain or to oppose, to give free course to gratify by compliance, to yield to. The dictionary definition of compulsion is the act of compelling or driving by a force, physical or moral constraint of will. Compulsory. Obligatory. In other words, indulgence implies choice, whereas compulsion indicates the lack of choice. When a person has no proper release for their desires, they rapidly build up and become compulsions. If everyone had a particular time and place for the purpose of periodically indulging in their personal desires without fear of embarrassment or reproach, they would be sufficiently released to lead unfrustrated lives in the everyday world. They would be free to plunge headlong into whatever undertaking they might choose instead of going about their duties half-heartedly. Their creative urges frustrated by denying their natural desires. This would apply in the majority of cases, but there will always be those who work better under pressure. Generally, those who need to endure a certain amount of hardship to produce to their full capabilities are in basically artistic vocations. This does not mean to imply that all artists fit into this category. On the contrary, many artists are unable to produce unless their basic animal needs have been satisfied. So, indulge yourselves. Allow yourself to enjoy the things you have. Allow yourself to enjoy in the pleasures of the flesh. Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow you shall not be here. You never know. If you'd like to participate in the conversation, please come on over to YouTube, where I am able to have guests. So, but that's the difference between compulsiveness, which is the compulsion to avoid the carnal flesh that is so rampant amongst the Judeo-Christian beliefs. Instead, we indulge in the pleasures of the flesh. We embrace our human natures, our carnal desires, and try to do so in a way that is fulfilling for ourselves. Remember, this is indulgence, not compulsion. I hope that explained why we are into indulgences instead of abstinence. Now, if anybody else would have any questions, please feel free to ask them. I will try to read them on the screen here, but that's an awful tiny screen I'm looking at. So if you come over to YouTube, I can see the questions much easier. Just go to YouTube, search up Grumps Grotto, and you will be able to find me. And need to click that off. See, I need a producer. Somebody says I look like Jerry Garcia. That's normal. Did I miss any questions while I was going through this? Let's see. Do I have a background to put up over there? But I'd like to get more of this going on over in the YouTube channel. And looks like something's gone haywire with some things. But I'm going to be doing a little bit more on that channel instead of in the TikTok. Mainly because TikTok seems to be very toxic to anybody who is outspoken. You start speaking out against certain things, and you get these people that just come up to you and start going, I'm going to ban your butt. And it gets to be annoying. I feel that YouTube is a lot more viable for this. And I know how much TikTok hates the word YouTube. That's why I'm being throttled back so badly over there right now. Because I'm encouraging people to come over to my other platform. Why am I being throttled? Because they're a bunch of jerks. And if you can't hear anything that I'm saying, that's because it's probably because the stupid thing's hooked up to my microphone. See, all sorts of things. Let me fix that. Seems typical. What's a Satanist or an atheist live without problems, right? Here's hoping you can hear me now. Like I've been trying to say for the last 15 minutes, come over to YouTube. You can hear things perfectly fine, I think. I haven't gotten any nay signs from Titan that he can't hear me. come on over. Come on over if you'd like to join us over here. We're on YouTube where I can have guests. I can't seem to have guests on here right now because somebody's being a jerk. And I have no idea why. They're not able to have guests until Tuesday on this stupid, silly platform. But if you'd like to come over and be a guest on YouTube, the guest link is in the chat there, and you can find my channel by either going to YouTube and searching up Grumps Grotto, or simply click the bio link in my bio, and there'll be a link there. So come on over. Let's have a good time. I'm here to answer questions tonight, whatever questions you can think of. Hopefully. It's too bad that you over here on TikTok didn't hear the nice reading of why indulgence over compulsion is much better. But you may ask me anything you'd like about that. And I'll try to answer. Hello, Ree, and I see Spooky has joined us over here as well. So we have Gallifrey Girl and Spooky. Now all I need is the punk rocker to come on over, and we can have a decently good time over on the YouTubes. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask him, and I'll pop it up on the screen, and I'll answer the questions. We're not monetized on YouTube, so it doesn't matter. Hey, Murder Shed Steve has joined us. Nice to see you, Murder Shed Steve. Let's go ahead and pop these things up, since I'm really bad at doing this. Rhiannon, thank you. Spooky. And it is the one, the only, Murder Shed Steve. So, if you would like to ask any questions, I'm free to answer anything you have about Satanism. I will answer questions on atheism as well. And saying hello to the people in TikTok land. Come on over to YouTube where the party's going. Let's see. So we talked about indulgences. Just like to read this is indulgence, not compulsion. The highest plateau of human development is the awareness of the flesh. Good stuff. It really is. So, Murder Shed Steve asks, why are all atheists so angry? I don't know. Maybe it's because they're tired of being told they're wrong for not believing in a God. Maybe it's because something happened while they were a Christian that made them upset. But that's not always the case. I don't find that many atheists are angry. They just have high opinions. And they really just want to get that point across and try to help people understand. So, always Jive Jeff on TikTok is asking, Satan is Abrahamic, right? I mean, Satan. Well, no, it's not Abrahamic. It's based on a Abrahamic Hebrew word, Yah, Satan, As Satan, that means adversary, opposer, and accuser. And that's about it. That's the only thing we take away from it. We use the symbol. Yes, it's kind of a shock value because it is in direct conflict with that which we oppose the most, which is the organized religions of the Western world. Why do we have to believe in a God? Why do we have to have a scapegoat to blame for our own misdeeds? Why cannot we take our own responsibilities for the things that we do? You're leaning on a crutch. You're not able to take responsibility for yourself. So you have to call upon something to beg forgiveness, when all you have to do is get forgiveness from the person you have wronged. Or forgive yourself if you've wronged yourself. Going out and praying and asking for the forgiveness of something that is only a fictional figmentation of most mankind's existence is the problem. But hey, you do you. If you have to believe in a God that's mightier than you in order to make yourself feel good and be able to live your life the way you want to, go right ahead. I'm not going to stop you. Nobody's going to stop you. But as it says in the lovely writings of Paul, as a child, I thought as a child, and I spake as a child. As I've grown to be a man, I have given up childish things. Spooky's got a nice, interesting question over on YouTube. How are you a Satanist? You do not wear black and have lots of piercings. I know Spooky's just having some fun. But, a lot of us Satanists are your average Joe. You wouldn't even know we're Satanists if you ran into us on the street. We might occasionally have these little things on our fingers or around our necks that symbolize what we are. But not all of us do. Hell, there's lawyers, doctors, nurses, probably a few politicians that are actually Satanists, but don't tell you because Satanism is apolitical. And we don't really tout it out in public. That's why I say the other organization, the Humanist Temple, the Satanic Temple, are a bunch of cosplayers. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong to flaunt it. Like the person who asked the question, Spooky's got a great jacket or vest. Might be a jacket. Can't remember. It's a jacket that has the emblems on it and stuff that represents what they want to express, which is perfectly fine. And there's nothing wrong with it. Welcome, Aunt Jer. Nice to see ya. I don't need anybody on TikTok today, Aunt Jer. It's going to be slow as molasses there. I didn't really put anything up. I'm not going to because I can't have guests over there tonight. But if you'd like to be a guest, there's a link at the top of the chat in YouTube. Just click on that little blue thing there and it'll pull up a link and you can actually join me on StreamYard. And we can pop up on the screen and have a little bit of fun. Grumpy Wizard, how are you? I'm just being my wizardly goodness. Yeah, that is a great battle vest too, Spooky. I love that battle vest. Yes. For some reason, we borrow a lot from the heavy metal scene. We wear our battle vests. We wear those type of things just to show off sometimes. But most of the time, you're going to run into somebody wearing a suit and be surprised to find out that they're a Satanist. Now, I like my personal aesthetic to be the Hawaiian shirt thing. Don't know why, but it's my personal aesthetic. Yes, I know it's what frickin' Ken Hovind wears. I just realized that after I'd been decided I was going to wear Hawaiian shirts. Oh well, we all can't be perfect. Now, that brings up an interesting thing when you talk about the battle vest. Do all of us listen to heavy metal or death metal and satanic metal? No. In fact, the most satanic music is your classical music. You know, like Bach, you know, and Beethoven and some Wagner. You know, stuff that has really that old core that gets into you when you're listening to it. So, do we listen to death metal? Some of us. Do we listen to goth? Well, I do. I actually listen to a lot of music, but music to me is the expression of life in everywhere you see it. And it's the easiest way to communicate across cultures. I listen to Japanese music and don't understand a word they're saying, but I still enjoy it. And Jupiter says that your colorful shirts never fail to make me happy. Well, I don't try to make people happy. I like to wear the shirts. They're fun. Aunt Jer's having a little bit of fun here. All metal is satanic. There's subliminal messages in all songs that open up portals for teenagers to be demon possessed. Thank you, Satanic Panic. It's one of the things that I don't understand is why people think that backmasking is a thing. You listen to something and it's audible pareidolia. That's the tendency of the mind to make organizations of things. And when you're listening to the sound backwards, your mind actually warps the sound into something being said. Now, occasionally, there will be purposeful backmasking done on some tracks. And that's just the musicians having a bit of fun. As far as opening portals to demons, demons don't exist. I'm sorry, they just don't. Demons are to blame for everything. I'm an alcoholic because I've got this problem with my demon of drink. It's not a demon of drink. It's a obsession and a compulsion you have. Try to work your way out of it. There are plenty of secular ways to get out of alcoholism, by the way. I'm not making fun of alcoholics. I'm just stating that's the way I feel about it. Smurfs, Rainbow Bright, Care Bears, He-Man. It's really funny what people think is demonic and satanistic. Dungeons and Dragons is the pathway to the devil. No, it's not. It's a good way to learn how to think for yourself. I see that somebody on TikTok had a parent that dropped everything. You know, they took a lot of their child's possessions and got rid of them because they thought they were gateways for the Satan to come into the household. It's always a fun thing that happens. I don't understand why that's even a thing. I mean, it's not. But we're going to pause here for just a second so I can tell the people, the good people of TikTok, where they can find me. And the good people over here on the other side are going to have a little bit of fun listening to it, I hope. So, if you'd like to join us over here on YouTube, just look in my bio for the link page. It'll take you to this little page, it'll pop up, and it will give you links to my YouTube channel. Or you can just simply search Grumps Grotto from YouTube. Hope to see you there. It's too bad they couldn't hear the nice sound effects and music and all that because they're over on the platform that doesn't get the fun stuff. On Jer says, hearing the music from when I was talking about how to find me on YouTube is made them a Satanist. Welcome. Welcome to the lovely grotto. You are free to join us at any time. Please do. Anyway, it looks like I've frozen over here on frickin' YouTube. I'm not YouTube, but TikTok. This is why I'm also moving the platform, and I'm also getting some new equipment as of tomorrow, so things will be going a lot smoother. So, do we have any more questions? And somebody says there's a portal in their living room. Well, if there's a portal in your living room, I hope it's that nice, fun game that's on Xbox and the PS, whatever. I hope it's not literally a portal, because if you have a portal in your room, I want some video evidence of this. I want some scientific analysis of this portal. Is it opening up into a demon's spawn? I highly doubt it. But let's see. I've been going for about half an hour now. Would you like to hear some more readings? Would you like me to read from something else? Would you like me to read a story? I mean, whatever you want, I will try to do. I'm like I said, I'd love to answer questions. Anybody has a question? Anybody wants to be a guest? The guest link is in YouTube. Please come on over. Aunt Jer just pointed out something very important. People who live on boats have portals in their living rooms. Yeah, those are portholes, not portals. Debunking things can be fun. That's one of the reasons why I try to do this every week, is I'm trying to debunk the misconceptions of what a Satanist is. They think that we're these things that go around and unaliving children and animals to the glory of
The devil.
No, we're not. That's totally, totally out of line. That's not what we're about, and we never have been about that. And I need to shut this stupid sound effect off. Let's see. That's the cathedral. Need to have one of them that has background noise so I can.
There it is. Get rid of that sound. Now we don't have that running when I'm running those.
Too many toys to play with, not enough time.
I was born in it, molded by it.
That reminds me. Another thing is you cannot become a Satanist. You've either always been one and just hadn't realized it, or you never will be. One of the hardest things for people to wrap their heads around is understanding that concept. And it's sad. And remember, not everyone is meant to be a Satanist. As the motto of my state says, Satanism, it's not for everybody. No, it doesn't say Satanism at the beginning, of course. But let's see what else I have here that I could pull out of the great philosophical work here. Hmm. Talking about moral obligations. Ah. Satanism represents responsibility to the responsible instead of concern for psychic vampires. This is one of the ones a lot of people have trouble understanding. Many people who walk the earth practice the fine art of making others feel responsible and even indebted to them without cause. Satanism observes these leeches in their true light. Psychic vampires are individuals who drain others of their vital energy. This type of person can be found in all avenues of society. They fill no useful purpose in their lives and are neither love objects or nor true friends, yet we feel responsible to the psychic vampire without knowing why. If you think you may be the victim of such a person, there are a few simple rules which will help you form a decision. Is there a person you often call or visit, even though you really don't want to because you know you will feel guilty if you don't? Or do you find yourself constantly doing favors for one who doesn't come forward and ask? But hints. Often psychic vampires will use reverse psychology saying, "Oh, I couldn't ask you to do that." And you, in turn, insist upon doing it. The psychic vampire never demands anything of you. That would be far too presumptuous. They simply let their wishes be known in subtle ways, which will prevent them from being considered pests. They wouldn't think of imposing and are always content and willingly accept their lot without the slightest complaint outwardly. Their sins are not of commission, but of omission. It's what they don't say, not what they do say, that makes you feel you must account to them. They are much too crafty to make overt demands upon you because they know you would resent it and would have a tangible and legitimate reason for denying them. Isn't that an interesting thought? They know that you would think that way. That's why they don't come out and actually ask you to do things. A large percentage of these people have special attributes which make their dependence upon you more feasible and much more effective. Many psychic vampires are ones who present themselves as physically invalid or are mentally or emotionally disturbed. Others might feign ignorance or incompetence, so you will, out of pity, or more often, exasperation, do things for them. The traditional way to banish a demon or elemental is to recognize it for what it is and to exorcise it. Recognition of these modern day demons, quote unquote, and their methods is the only antidote for their devastating hold over you. Most people accept these passively vicious individuals at face value only because their insidious maneuvers have never been pointed out to them. They merely accept these poor souls as being less fortunate than themselves and feel they must help them however they can. It is the misdirected sense of responsibility or unfounded sense of guilt which nourishes well the altruisms upon which these parasites feast. So don't fall into their traps. If you have somebody that seems to only come around when they need something, they're most likely a psychic vampire. And they will be totally something that's going to annoy the out of you eventually. With that being said, do I have anybody who has any questions on anything? Anything at all? I will try to answer. Keeping in mind it's the scope of Satanism and atheism. And ahoy, Evil Murmo. I am currently live on YouTube where I can have guests. Over here, I can't for some reason today. And TikTok's not liking me very much. It keeps on freezing my screen. What else is new? Aunt Jer's got a question. How do you know if you're a psychic vampire? That's a good question. Most psychic vampires don't recognize it in themselves. They just feel the need to seek after these types of things that were described. A lot of psychic vampires would be considered narcissists, and they think that they deserve it. And whatever they can get out of people, they deserve it, and they will do what they can to get it. Now, if you're a psychic vampire, I don't know what to tell you. Just stay away from me. And if anybody thinks that I have the tendency to be a psychic vampire, please tell me, because that's annoying. I do not intend to be that type of person. Well, I hope you get to feeling better, Evil Normo. The YouTube channel is known as Grumps Grotto. And we're here midnight in Grumps Grotto taking questions on atheism and Satanism. Please feel free to ask questions as much as you wish. I'll be going for probably another 15 minutes on this episode just because it's the first time I'm going mostly live on one single platform. Starting next month, I'll be doing a Sunday night show that will contain news and information. Aunt Jer, I used to think grotto and brothel were synonymous. Well, sometimes they were. Hello, David. But anyway, as I was starting to say there, starting next month, I'm going to be doing a Sunday night show at least twice a month that will feature atheist and satanic themed news that I've gleaned from the internets. It's something I've just been thinking about doing for a while, trying to come up with just a 30-minute show to do on news stories that might be of interest to atheists and Satanists. If you have any suggestions, you can come over to the Discord. The link is in the show notes on YouTube. And give me suggested topics to look at. If you'd like me to cover anything on the Ask a Satanist questions, you can always ask me questions there, and I will read them on here anonymously if you wish. Or you can actually come on here and have fun. Haven't yet to have somebody be a guest on the grotto, and that would be perfectly wonderful. If you're interested in being a guest host, you can also give me that information on Discord, or you can email me at editor@baedonwebz.com. That's editor@badenwebs.com. Eventually, the grotto will have its own email address. Again, I'd like to thank everybody for coming in and joining me. We will be doing more in the near future, strictly on the YouTube. And we will be seeing you next week, hopefully on both platforms. Hail Satan, hail thyself, Ave Satanist. Take care. Of course, if you had this already, you would have been ready to go. And thank you for coming. And my phone's going off like you wouldn't believe.